Hello, my name is T.R. Welling, and I'm going to show you today how to create a tarot deck or a collection of greeting cards or some kind of a art project where you need to create a large sequence of individually identified cards that are uniform in their creation, but each card could have some aspects of different situations, graphics or information on it. So you start with a blank page. And how you get to a blank page, you go to Home, go to File, go to Blank, hit Blank Page. So I've already done that. You don't need to continue doing that. You then go to Print, and then Page Orientation, Landscape. Landscape will create the correct format for you. Then you go to Layout, Margins, Customize Margins. Then crank this as low as you can possibly go. All the margins as low as possible. If you can crank the margins as low as possible, then you can have maximum surface area in which to have. It's going to, of course, just say Fix, say OK, and there you have the margins are nice and wide. So you go up to here to Insert, come down here, you go 4 across, and then if you just want to do four cells and 4 cells across, then you're going to do 2. If you don't have any kind of writing at the bottom, at the top, then you're going to want to do 5. But because you have to remember, everything's in odds, because there's 1 up, 2 down, and then 3 in the middle. You have to remember that the middle part, this middle part here, is the cut line. When you get to the cut line, when you get to the cutting aspects, that cutting aspects is going to allow you to have a parameter from which to cut it on your home cutter, or have the printer have a clearly identified place in which to cut. If you want to have more information than just a line on top and just a line on top or a line on the bottom and the graphic in the place, you need to go down to there. So you have that. So what you need to do next is to first come here, go over to Home, and have it identify it, then aligned in the center. You then need to go do this, and again, aligned in the center. Therefore, it's aligned in the center. Create just place marker letters in place, and then come over like this and hit paste. Come over like this and hit paste. After you, of course, you hit when you highlight it, you hit Control C, and then hit Control P or paste when you are done pasting, when you're about to paste. So this is set for letters on the bottom too. You come over here and do this. Letters there too, and then gotta adjust that back up. Go there, then letters. Okay, so you have top and bottom letters formatted. So what you need to do next is go and insert a appropriate picture. Now, what is the best thing to do is to just have a basic picture that will, you got to go to the right hard drive, of course. I use an external drive. This one that happens to be F, but whatever your external drive or wherever you have pictures here, or pictures in here, pictures here. I have just pictures in general. So have this, have that. Other pictures will come up, and you hit whatever the picture is appropriate, that will work just fine. So now what you need to do is remember to shrink this down to an appropriate size. You'll adjust it later, of course. And then, like in a few minutes, you and paste. So you now have this formatted. Now this is way skinny, nowhere close as tall as it needs to be. But instead of having to adjust each one of these, just hit this, hit copy, and then come over here and do this, and paste, and I'll copy it along the whole line, everywhere that it's outlined. Hit this, go here, and hit paste, and you have almost the thing. So you take this distance, you half this distance, and then expand it. So this distance is approximately half this distance. So you have to copy this, come here, and paste. From here, do that. Highlight it. You push the left click down, and then drag the mouse where you want it, and that'll highlight it for you. And then you have this, which looks like it's not quite enough, so I'm going to pull this down a little bit more, just a hair, and then highlight it, and then paste. Go in here, highlight it, and paste. There's a little bit of a hangover, but that's fairly easy to fix. Just make this one bigger, and then copy it over. Copy this line over. Block this, left click, and then drag the mouse, copy it there, and then just do it again. And then just make it a little bit bigger incrementally until you have this gap at least semi-filled. Copy this, hit here to make sure that there is enough copy over. Come over here so that you drop it down to there. Make sure the cursor is down there, and hit paste. You then have the whole, come here, hit copy, hit that button, copy, and then you create that. That's how you create that sequence in that situation. The more in a Tarot deck, the more detailed and the more mathematics, sacred geometry, the math, the characters, the languages that you use, and of course specifically the information that is specific to the numbering sequence, the lettering sequences that you use. Most decks are based off of English. Some of the older ones, at least in public record that are around, are in French, and they both use the Arabic number system. The Arabic number system is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the Arabic number system. That is not the only number system on the planet. In fact, it's one of multitude of number systems. The Elder Futhark is a 3/8 system of 24 characters, and it's spelled EIGHT as in 8 also, but each of the 8s is in a sphere, and in Elder Futhark the word sphere is actually AE as a single character, AETT. The AETT is not a linear mathematics. It's not a linear sequence. It's not a linear number sequence. It is 1 is center, 2 is down, 3 is up, 4 is back, 5 forward, 6 to one side, left side, 7 to the right side, and then 8 is a destination. Now, depending on many factors, as long as the 1 is at the center, and 8 is the destination, 2 can be back, 3 forward, 4 to the left, 5, 6, 7. It doesn't. That sequence is based off of various and assorted aspects of mathematics. It's not set. The 1 and 8 are set. The 2 through 7 are not set. So you can use a biblical reference. God created the heaven. God would be 0, would be 1. Heaven would be up. Earth would be 2, down. And then he flew over the waters. Well, to make water, you have to have 2 hydrogens. That would be, pick a direction, say south. One oxygen, pick another direction, most likely north. Then catalyst to combine the two hydrogens and the oxygen, H2O, hydrogen, and then that catalyst, then the direction east, then creates water west. So you have, the guy created the earth and heavens and earth. Well, that's 2, 3, and then it's not back and forth, side to side. It is start with one direction and go around the clock, then go around either that or pick one direction and then go around in a circle till you get to the west, or you go one direction, pick one direction, say south is down or backwards, forwards to the east and then to the west, and you have the same exact polarities. It's all a matter of personal perspective, personal path, personal tradition, to personal stuff. That's what's happening within how to build a tarot deck, and you then that's how you formulate the suits based off of that, off of how they apply to the elements. You have earth, air, fire, water, and those elements usually translate to water is spring, air summer. Then you start to add a catalyst of the end of summer, and then winter would be fall. Winter would then be the water sequence and then the ground sequence. So you have the sequences all patterned out according to how they apply to the suits and to the elements and such. And and depending on traditions and such, that can change a lot based on tradition and based on your own individual culture's ideas of various and assorted aspects of how things work. So it's all based off of who you are, what you are, and how you want to achieve your own goals. So now we're going to talk about the cutting process, which the cutting process is kind of difficult and elaborate. I do not recommend this cutter. I don't recommend this cutter at all. This cutter will work only because I have so much experience dealing with this stuff. But you need a guillotine cutter, a guillotine cutter, long blade, and then because it comes down. But the functionality and structure of this cutter doesn't work that well, and we'll go over that in a second. Okay. You need to be able to make sure that this ink is on that side of the cutting surface. This ink has to be over that direction. This ink all has to be on that side of the direction. So you match it. Draw this imaginary straight line, and then cut this ink as close to the cutting surface as possible, because you need to make room for this information and that information. So this is the cutting surface. This is the cutting surface. There's the cut. So bring it as close to that as possible. You line it up here. As you line it up, you line it up. Bring it a little bit farther over. Line it up. Line this part of the square up and this part of the square up, and then put 2 fingers here, 1 finger here to make sure the cutting surface doesn't move, and then down you go. And there is a cut. Bring it back up. Now is where this thing comes in. Okay, so you have this square cutting surface, and everything is this information is on that side of the cutting surface. This information is on that side of the cutting surface, and you're leaving enough room over here and here to be able to cut with. Okay, this is going to move. This thing over here, the reason why I don't recommend it is this moves all over the place. This doesn't. This is a screw, which tighten that screw down, and it's at least solid enough to be able to make sure that this top ½ inch to 1 inch here stays solid. So this stays solid. This is built permanently solid, and this the cutting surface, this is solid. So therefore, you can 2 fingers here, push hard that direction and that direction. This doesn't. You don't really push any direction this way or that way. You just keep it down, because this will translate to here, equal and opposite reaction, because this is a single piece of paper, and the paper itself is also very specific to making a direct. So you have this here. It's all this ink is on that side. All this ink is on that side. This is solid. That's solid. This is solidly pushed down. This is not going anywhere. And then cut. Okay. On the paper itself. On the paper itself, you want it to sound like this, and it needs to have the right feel, so that when you do pick your paper, it can shuffle, and you can shuffle, and you can deal the cards out, and you can work with them appropriately and accurately. So you got this surface, check all these surfaces, check here, it's nice and squared flush against here, push 2 fingers there, push one thumb down. These 2 fingers are pushing this direction and that direction, as well as down, and this thumb is just pushing down. So, and you can see how much this wiggles. This is wiggling by a huge amount. And probably in this kind of publishing, even a millimeter off of the functionality and structure of this stuff is wrong. You cannot. It's harder. The more it's a millimeter off. The more the cards are a millimeter or more off, the more it's harder to. The more difficult it is to shuffle the cards. So you have to push in that way and this way. This push down here. Ignore this little thing over here. Make sure that. Check this line, check that line, and then down you go. And again, the sounds, the thing, okay, in and that way, this way, down hard. This is all on the right side. This doesn't matter at all because it's incorrect. And then there. Now you've cut, and you're rocking and rolling. That is how you make a Trodeck.